Hey guys, it's Virginia.
This is Eve.
And we're here at Prana Vibe going over the Mysore basics. We're now approaching the backbends. And backbends are its own category, and then we move into finishing postures. So the way Ashtanga works is that you start with the Surya Namaskaras, sun salutations, A and B, then you move into fundamental postures, which regardless of what series you're in, you do it. They're often referred to also as the standing postures. And then after you do your first standing balancing, that's the beginning of primary series. And then if you start second series, they go into some prone position back bends. So we're gonna actually move into our back bends now. And also we're going to, if you look at further videos, you'll see some what we call accessory poses, which you would actually see in second series, but we find it very helpful to integrate that now because we just don't get that sort of activation often in the primary series, and we find it very helpful to delve into those poses. So we're gonna go into supported bridge pose, Satu Bandhasana, and it's not the same Satu Bandhasana as you would find in traditional primary series. So you're just going to lie down on her back. And the first most accessible back bend will be one with a block. So she'll walk her feet in, she'll grab the block, and we recommend either the middle setting or the highest setting. We're gonna go ahead and set it at the highest setting for her. So we wanna place it right under the hip. So you wanna be careful you're not putting it on the low back. You're actually under the hip, okay? So past the low back. The feet are a little bit wider than hip width for the best comfort. Sometimes if we're a little splayed, like we're not sure where our legs are, it's helpful to take another block and place it in between the thighs and squeeze there, so it gives you that midline activation. So this is pretty supportive with the block, really great restorative style of a back bend. Now, if we want to be a little bit more active, she'll go ahead and take that block out from under her back or under her hip and lower down. She'll set the block aside and do the same pose, but with her hands interlaced beneath her. So she's going to take all of her 5 fingers and just clasp them together and then root the hand, her wrist into the ground. So once she's there, she's going to shimmy her shoulders under her chest. So this is actually supported on her shoulders and not her neck, right? So that's super, super key. In fact, another great way to make sure you're not sitting or collapsing on your neck is to move your chin a bit away from the chest, right? So she's moving that, and then she's grabbing into the back of her skull. She's pressing out of her heel. So there's some controversy regarding glute activation here. We here at Prana, we believe that that is an activating muscle to support the pose. It is a hip extension, and the muscles we're using to bring that extension are the hips and the hamstring. So I actually feel that that is what you're supposed to activate. There's a difference between activation and tension, like you're not trying to, crack a walnut or something like that. We're just activating to lift the hips. Then you stabilize the front body by engaging your front core muscles. So you still are using opposite ends, the agonist and the antagonist set of muscles to stabilize your posture. After 5 deep breaths, you'll take your hands apart, and I recommend lowering down 1 vertebra at a time. So imagine your spine like a wooden snake, the wooden toy, and you're trying to pay attention to each vertebra lowering to the ground. So we'll do it one more time. She's going to lift her hips up, peeling 1 vertebra at a time, just like the snake in reverse. And she'll interlace her hand, shimmy those shoulders under, and she'll breathe into that expansion across her chest. Another key thing is you don't want to be rotating your head around when you have this position. Even though you're not fully loaded on your neck, there is a bit of a load, so you want to just be sure you're not twisting and turning your neck here. Good. So I'm going to lower down. This is for 5 sets at 5 reps each.